Nigeria has formed a cliche. They say, I stand on existing protocols. And somebody will say, well, we hope that that protocol will not break down if everybody is standing on it. Depending on the rules of the people standing on it. So let me also start on existing protocol. I want to start off by thanking the consultants, the organizers, or the facilitators of this very important national workshop on current trends in public sector accounting and auditing. As well as thank our other major partner, the Office of the Auditor General for the Federation. I've been informed that the General himself was here on the first day of the training program. And I also want to express my regret at not being able to attend since the program kicked off on Monday. That was my initial plan, was to be here on Monday and then spend maybe at least 1 or 2 more days before the closing time. Thank you. I want to thank everyone who has had the opportunity or made out the time to be here on the first series of this very important training program, as well as those who are here in representational capacity, standing in for the various CEOs. I'm sure that the last few days have been very beneficial in terms of deepening our understanding of accounting, auditing, and financial matters generally as it has to do with the public sector. I do not want to bore you with talking about the responsibilities of the Public Account Committee or the Auditor General and what have you, because I know that as persons that have risen to this scale in the public service, you're very, very much familiar with what the public accounts procedures, auditors procedure, accounting procedure is all about. And whatever we do here in that line is more of a refresher experience, which is also very, very needful for us as a people, because no matter how vast the human memory is, no matter how deep our understanding is, once in a while we also need to bring ourselves into some form of refreshment on the work we do and how we do them. Furthermore, because the world we are in is also a very dynamic world, things keep changing and evolving. And so we need to keep pace with development, both nationally and globally, on all issues, accounting inclusive. In this era of artificial intelligence, where almost everything and anything can be done with the touch of the button on the computer, we have to find a means through which we can constantly grow ahead of the trends. In the Public Account Department, or Public Account Committee of the House of Representatives, which I have the privilege of heading, one of the agenda we set for ourselves at the unveiling of the committee in the month of October of last year is the agenda of deepening our relationship with ministries, departments, and agencies of government who are major stakeholders in the work that we do. Before now, there has been a whole lot of misunderstanding or knowledge gap as to the work we do and the kind of relationship that must of necessity exist between us and ministries, departments, and agencies of government. Yes, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the standing orders of the House, and conventional practice of the Parliament has given us certain powers, responsibilities, which we have to oversight MDAs. But what is the purpose of the oversight? And when the purpose of a thing is unknown, abuse is what results from it. So we have to understand the purpose of that power to oversight, the power to oversee public expenditure. And the purpose is very clear, it's very straightforward. The purpose is to make sure that we all together build a country that works. That is the purpose. We are all Nigerians. We all live in Nigeria. And you and I have expectations from the country that we have, the country that we own. Wherever you live in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you have a desire for security. You have a desire for good infrastructure. You want a very good road to ply. You want the airports to work well. You want water to flow in your taps. You want electricity to be available. You want schools that your children or your neighbor's children or whoever can attend and have good education. That is the whole desire that we all have as Nigerians. So the work we do and the work you do are all tailored towards those goals, achieving those purposes, to make sure the country works well for all of us. So the director of finance of any organization that we are working towards ensuring that these monies that are appropriated, these monies that are public funds, serve the purpose for which they are meant. And we all need to keep on asking ourselves at every point in time, what are the things we are doing to make sure that this money serves those purposes? What are the things we are doing that are frustrating or hindering the meeting of these objectives? Now, in answering this question, we should be very truthful to ourselves. We should be very, very honest with ourselves. As a country, we have not had the best of times. As a country, we have not had the desires of our youthful days. Most of us here, I'm sure almost everyone here has traveled out of Nigeria. And especially if we have the opportunity of traveling to countries like Europe, countries in Asia, countries in the United States of America, or even the countries where we go for our holy pilgrimages, Saudi Arabia and Israel, for example, where we go for our pilgrimages. I think an example of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, by geography, is in a desert. And if you look at the demography of that country, and you compare that with the demography of Nigeria, you see that we have a much larger space to play with. But if you look at the resource base in terms of mineral resources, you find a situation where the same oil that God has blessed them with is what God has blessed us with. And the Saudi Arabian government founded a company that's called the Aramco, which is the company that manages their oil wealth, just like we also have our own NNPC. And the question you ask yourself, if you have ever been to that country, is why they have been able to put those oil money into those use that has made the country functional and productive for its citizens. And why, on the reverse side, it does appear that we have not been able to do so as a country. Now, one of the arguments that some theorists will bring up is that, in Nigeria, everybody's business is nobody's business. We are running a state-owned enterprise, the NNPC, which should be private-driven. Well, the answer is neither here nor there. The Saudi oil company is heavily state-driven and state-run. Yet, it works. In the 70s, early 80s, up to the mid-80s, we had the Nigerian Airways, which if we didn't fly in, our elder brothers or parents flew in them. And it was remarked then that it was one of the best airlines in the world. And that whenever Nigerian Airways plane was taking off, especially during the pilgrimages, everybody would know, oh yeah, this is Nigeria, and had delegation coming. But at the point, we started losing the steam. And gradually, Nigerian Airways went into extinction. And as we speak today, we have not been able to have a state-owned or a national flag carrier in the aviation sector. Now compare that with a country like Ethiopia or a country like Rwanda, and examine how they have been able to build a brand in the aviation sector that has become the pride of the continent, the pride of the world. A young lady did a video recently, she's white, and shared her experience traveling from Nigeria to Addis Ababa. You saw the video, ma'am. And she just gave a very simple analogy that if you want your country to grow, you have to make your airport welcoming. That the frustrations that she encountered coming into Nigeria and leaving Nigeria compared to the welcoming atmosphere she had in Addis Ababa. Coming to Addis Ababa and leaving Addis Ababa will make Addis Ababa a point of destination for her rather than Lagos or Abuja, Nigeria. Now, these are just, simple common examples of the situation we have found ourselves. And this is a country that is heavy endowed, that is very well blessed. And there is no greater blessing for any country than its human resource. The human resource is the greatest blessing any country can have. Far more than natural resource or minerals and whatever. Nigeria is so blessed, and that is why you and I are so privileged to occupy the positions that we occupy. So the question is, why? What are the reasons why it seems that we have not been able to deliver on those things that are the vision of our founding fathers? And one of the things that we have identified, like I said, if we're going to be honest and true with ourselves, is that there is a whole lot of impunity, lack of processes, abuse of powers, abuse of privileges, corruption, waste in our public finance management. And it is not a time to start throwing blames. We are all guilty. There is no one that can come out and beat his or her chest. There is no arm of government, there is no institution that can come out and say, oh yeah, but for us. No. We are all guilty. We have all failed in one way or the other. But failure is not actually the issue. It is continuous failure that is the problem. So if there's been a failure, and we make a decision to stop failing, we'll be going through the desired destination. And what the National Assembly, the 10th National Assembly under the speakership of Right Honorable Tajudeen Abbas has charged us is to make sure that we work towards doing things better, towards ensuring that whatever things have happened in the past that are not very well done are corrected, in a very friendly manner. And so I want to let you know that the Public Account Committee of the 10th Assembly is not standing as a wicked judge, is not standing as a fault finder to MDAs. We are not standing in that capacity. We are standing as partners with you to deliver on your mandate as an organization and on our mandate as an institution so that we can gradually begin to improve on our various processes. When agencies come to appear before us, unless in very few cases where you have some recalcitrant MDAs, some very difficult ones to deal with, I do make it very clear that I'm not sure there's any institution today that you will audit or investigate and you will not find one or two things that are not done properly. There is none. Apology to where's my friend from my ICPC? That's it. If we go to ICPC today and we do a thorough forensic audit, no matter how small, we're going to find something. Yeah, that is the truth. If you go to EFC, the same thing. If you go to the National Assembly, the same thing. That's the honest truth. But if we are honest to say, oh yes, this thing has been done wrongly, going forward, how do we correct? How do we make sure that we put the right things in place? We will gradually begin to also measure up to other countries that have been able to deliver well on their public finance management. And there are times when some of the things we also do wrong are as a result of, let me use this word very loosely, ignorance. And I don't mean to be offensive. I mean ignorance of maybe the law or the regulation or the procedure. I was, we were engaging with one agency very recently. Actually, it's a school. It's one of the federal unity schools that got a certificate of no objection for its feeding program in 2016 and decided to apply that same certificate of objection to every other procurement from 2016 to 2020. The principal and the boss said, so we needed to. I just gave that as one example. There could be so many things that one didn't know was actually wrong. We had an agency where the Auditor General cited them for some foreign travels without the approval of the head of service. And the permanent secretary came and said, well, when the minister, who is the political head of the ministry, is involved in the travel, all that was required is the approval from the presidency, that's the SGF. That the approval from the office of the head of service will be dispensed with, as it has to do with the permanent secretary and other public officers accompanying the minister on that trip. And we said, where is the authority for that interpretation? Because there are two different things. As a public servant, the authority to travel abroad must be given by the head of service. You can't say because your minister has gotten an approval from the SGA or the president, it covers every other person that is going with it. But that is not true. But apparently the permanent secretary was actually ignorant of the rule or the law, was committing a honest mistake. Let's put it that way. So, a training program like this is to afford us an opportunity to look at the frequently committed mistakes, or frequently asked questions on the things we do in the public accounting, public auditing space, and ensure that we are abreast of developments both nationally and locally. And we're going to be organizing this, very frequently. We're going to be making them, a very regular kind of an engagement, so that you also can give us feedback. If your organization has appeared, although in the introduction here, I can see so many people that we have invited that have refused to come, that have written almost 3-4 letters asking for extension of time. About 3 or 4. I've seen a few of them. But we expect you also to let us know what are your concerns, what are your challenges, what are your suggestions for us on the way that will also make the work we do better. One of the things we're doing, I must also really add this, to make the burden less in responding to our invitations or some of our requests for document, is a digitalization process of the Public Accounts Committee. And I was going to make a consultant that on Wednesday next week, which is the 10th of July, the Honorable Speaker will be commissioning our set of digitalization of the committee gathering room. We have acquired laptops, we have created a central portal for submission of documents. We have done quite a whole lot of things, so that from the comfort of your various offices, you can upload your document. We're going to create folder for all MDAs in the country. You can upload those documents. We are also tired of carrying Ghana or go back. When they are bringing them in, some people will assume that it's something else that is inside the inside the bag. Not that documents. We are tired of all that, literally not the whole committee room and our archival room. If you enter our archival room, you run away. When they are receiving 2012 document, 2013, the era of digitalization. So that's one of the things that we are doing, so that we can also reduce the burden of having to spend a lot of money on the copy document, batch documents, and carry documents and fly from one part of the country to the other. So once again, on behalf of the Speaker of the House of Representatives and on behalf of the members of my committee, Chairman and members of the committee, I want to welcome you to this very important engagement training program. I look forward to seeing you and also listening to you. Thank you so much.